Hello and welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and now we are getting into some juicy, legitimate rumors indeed, as the 76ers, Boston Celtics, and Los Angeles Lakers appear to be in serious trade talks. Now the Sixers and the Celtics, they are definitely in trade talks, while the Lakers and Celtics could be. Let's start with the Celtics and Sixers, as apparently the #1 pick overall that is owned by the Boston Celtics is at the center of trade talks. The Celtics want to trade down. It sounds like they like Josh Jackson out of Kansas, and they may prefer him over Markelle Fultz, but they feel that they can move down a couple spots and still take Josh Jackson. Whereas the Philadelphia 76ers, they are in love with Markelle Fultz. They want to move up and take Markelle Fultz. So how would I feel about this potentially for both teams? First of all, Markelle Fultz is absolutely great. He is the prized possession in this 2017 NBA draft. And for some reason, a lot of NBA fans refuse to turn on the tape and watch film. I don't know why people refuse to do this. I really don't understand why. I love listening to guys like Colin Cowherd, guys like the guys on PTI, just guys that do ESPN shows, Stephen A. Smith, like ESPN type guys, Fox Sports type guys. And what I always hear these guys saying is, oh yeah, Lonzo Ball is great, but they never mention Markelle Fultz because they just don't watch these guys. Markelle Fultz is the best prospect in this draft. He's almost a damn complete 100% total lock to me to be a perennial all-star player. I think we're talking about a serious great player in the NBA in time. And he can come right off of the bat in the NBA and, to me, average 15, 16 points per game, win Rookie of the Year, and then from then on, 5 years down the road, get you 24, 25, 26 points per game. While still being a good passer, he's not as good as Lonzo Ball, but he's a damn good passer. In fact, he had a higher assist percentage than Lonzo Ball. Getting your rebounds, getting chased down blocks. Apparently, he has a 40-inch vertical. The guy's complete. The only thing that stops me from saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer is just I would have liked to have seen him lead Washington to more wins. I would have liked to have seen him have a bigger impact in college. But other than that, man, he has all the tools. That guy's great. So for the 76ers, of course they won. For the Celtics, why don't you want him? Okay, I understand you have the ability now to trade back to the #3 spot, and apparently the Celtics would receive that #3 overall pick, as well as the Lakers 2018 first round pick that the 76ers own. And that pick will likely be a top 5, 6, or 7 pick, because the Lakers still probably won't be very good next season. I understand why that is enticing. You could have 2 early 2018 picks, as the Celtics still have the Nets pick next year. So you look at drafting 2 players next year in the top 5, 6, 7, maybe top 10. That's very enticing. But when you're accumulating all these picks and when you're looking to draft high in the draft, why are you doing it? To me, it's because you hope to reach a certain promised land. And to me, that promised land is a certain prospect that you look at and you say, man, this guy is really good. We want this guy. This guy's complete. He's going to help to change our franchise. And to me, that guy's sitting there right now. Because in the 2018 draft, I'm not sure if that guy's going to be there. Just off of my preliminary work, and it is preliminary, I think Markelle Fultz is a better prospect than the guys in the 2018 draft, and Michael Porter, the small forward that's going to Missouri, or centers DeAndre Ayton or Mohamed Bamba. I like Markelle Fultz better than those guys. I think Fultz is a better prospect than the guys next year. Now, we'll see how those guys develop, but to me, you have a guy sitting there right now in your face that you know is good. At least I do. Take this guy. And also, he fits a position of need. He can play point guard, but he can also play shooting guard and create for you offensively. You have the opportunity this offseason to add Markelle Fultz and to go sign Gordon Hayward in free agency. And I talked about it earlier in my mock draft video yesterday. I think if the Celtics do that, I think they can beat Cleveland. I know this is shocking to say, but they lost 4-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Gordon Hayward, you can agree with this, hopefully. He adds a game, right? He has to add at least a game. Markelle Fultz, yes, he's a rookie, but I think he adds a game. And then from there, the Celtics are naturally progressing as a team. As they get older, they're getting better. They won, what, 52, 53 games this year? They're going to win 60 next year. So you're talking about a 60-win team with Isaiah Thomas, Markelle Fultz, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, and someone at the power forward position. I really don't care who. I think they can beat Cleveland. Will they? I don't know, but I think that's a tough 6-7 game series, and we'll see who wins. And if Cleveland gets an injury with Kevin Love or Kyrie Irving, they've been injured in the past, the Celtics could be on to the NBA Finals. So to me, the Celtics, I don't really love this move. Although you trade back to number 3, you take Josh Jackson. I like Josh Jackson a lot. I want the Lakers to take Josh Jackson with the number 2 pick, but I have a considerable drop-off between Markelle Fultz and Josh Jackson. My prospect grades, if you've been following those, I gave Markelle Fultz a 93. I gave Josh Jackson and Lonzo Ball an 88. That is a 5-point difference, and on my scale, that is a significant difference. That is being a perennial all-star player in Markelle Fultz to an occasional all-star player in Lonzo Ball and Josh Jackson, and I cannot definitively say that Lonzo Ball and Josh Jackson will be all-stars because they could go down the wrong team, go down the wrong route, and fail out to me. While Markelle Fultz, I'm willing to sit here and say, oh, that guy's going to be an all-star. I have no question about that. So that's the interesting dynamic here. To me, the Celtics, if they trade back, it won't be a huge mistake. You're still going to have 2 first-round draft picks next year. You're going to get Josh Jackson, who to me can still be an all-star player, and an upgraded version of Jaylen Brown. I was not a fan of Jaylen Brown last year, who the Celtics took number 3 overall out of University of California. The guy shot 43%, was a defensive guy, a high athleticism guy last year. Really didn't impress me. Josh Jackson impresses me more. He shot 51% field goal percentage in college, shot 37% three-point percentage, while Jaylen Brown shot 29%. Josh Jackson is an upgraded version of Jaylen Brown. But with that said, this ends the career of Jaylen Brown to me, at least in terms of being a starter or an all-star for the Celtics at least, because if they get Josh Jackson, you can forget about Jaylen Brown because they can't play together. You cannot have 2 wings that can't shoot in the NBA. It's just not going to work. So you can forget about that. I know this year the Celtics, they played Crowder and Avery Bradley a lot, but you just can't do it. Jaylen Brown, to me, if they do this, okay, forget about Jaylen Brown, which I'm fine with because, again, I'm not a big fan of Jaylen Brown. But to me, the Celtics are overthinking this a little bit. It probably wouldn't be, again, terrible. Because let's say 3 years down the road, 2 years down the road, they'd have Josh Jackson. And let's say best case scenario next year, they get Michael Porter and DeAndre Ayton, or Michael Porter and Colin Sexton, and they still have a nice core building there. But to me, the win now mode, which you should be in, would be to just to sit at number 1, take Markelle Fultz, who's ready to go, right? There's not much of a transition needed for Markelle Fultz. There is a transition needed for Josh Jackson. I think Markelle Fultz could average 16 points per game his rookie year. Josh Jackson, I don't see him averaging more than 12. And I love Josh Jackson, but I think 12 pretty much max, because he's going to have to really transition from the college to the NBA. So we'll see what happens there. I'm intrigued, and also you have to consider this. Perhaps the Celtics are accumulating picks to potentially trade for Jimmy Butler, and that would make sense, or Paul George, and that would make sense. If that's what they're trying to do here, okay, I'd be fine with that. Why are you trying to get Josh Jackson, though, if you want Jimmy Butler? That doesn't really make sense to me. If you want to do that, I'd trade back to number 3. Maybe even back a little farther if I can to number 5 and take Malik Monk. And then you can have Malik Monk, then trade for Jimmy Butler. Now you have Isaiah Thomas, Malik Monk, Jimmy Butler. You have a couple first-round picks next year. Or maybe you probably at that point wouldn't have a couple. You maybe still have 1. You take a center next year or power forward in Colin Sexton, Mohamed Bamba, DeAndre Ayton, Jared Vanderbilt, and you let them develop. Now you have a nice starting 5 right there. So we'll see what the Celtics do, but those are my thoughts on the Celtics. Now my thoughts on the the Lakers. Now, this is not a definitive rumor. The Celtics one was reported by Mark Stein of ESPN and Adrian Wojnarowski of The Vertical from Yahoo. Okay, those are legitimate sources. You buy into those guys 100%. The later source comes from Jonathan Givney of the DraftExpress.com. I'm not really buying into this guy. I mean, he has nice credentials, but they're not great. They're not like the guys I just mentioned, and he was the only guy talking about this. But he's saying that the Lakers are interested in trading Julius Randle and the #2 pick for Markelle Fultz in that #1 overall spot, as Markelle Fultz blew away the Lakers in the workouts. He was fantastic. He killed it. Josh Jackson didn't really do great in his second workout. Lonzo Ball didn't do great conditioning-wise in his first workout. Now, Laker fans, they've already become infatuated with Lonzo Ball, and I understand it. Lonzo Ball is going to be very good. Markelle Fultz is better. Please, can people just please watch Markelle Fultz? It's the most frustrating thing in the world. We keep having these ridiculous conversations between these casual NBA fans or even these NBA fans that really follow the NBA, but they refuse to watch college tape. Please watch Markelle Fultz. Dude, the guy's freaking great. I cannot deny. I mean, it frustrates me to the core as I keep seeing people underselling Markelle Fultz just because he doesn't have the loudmouth daddy in LeVar Ball and just because he played for UW, right? This guy is so good. That's why, honestly, as college players, do not go to UW or Missouri or Texas or Alabama. Don't do it, because this is what happens. You get really undervalued. Although Ben Simmons last year got away with it, it becomes tougher on you than it should be. So anyway, I love this move, and I'm a Laker fan, and I really like Julius Randle. In fact, the other day, I was sitting down, and I was looking at Julius Randle's stats, and I was like, man, this guy is actually developing really nicely, and he's going to end up being a 17-9 or 10 guy in the near future. He's one of the few Lakers that had a positive defensive win share, had a above average PER in his third season. He's developing really nicely, had 3.6 assists per game for the power forward position. I really like Julius Randle, but he's an upcoming free agent. 2018, his contract runs out, and I don't think there's any way in hell the Lakers keep him. I don't think they can afford it, because the Lakers are going after some heavy hitters in free agency next year. LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, DeMarcus Cousins. They're going to look to sign 2 of those guys. Re-signing Julius Randle just won't work, I think. You know, the NBA cap is so complicated, no one understands it. Okay, so we're just having these ridiculous conversations about a cap that we don't understand. But from what my understanding is, there's no way they could re-sign Randle and sign 2 max guys next year. Randle is going to sign for over $10 million per year, and he deserves it under this new NBA. And you just can't fit all these guys in. I wish we didn't re-sign Jordan Clarkson now. I wish we would have let go of Clarkson and then kept Randle, because I really think Randle could be a nice piece for a championship team. Again, he's going to end up being a 17-9 guy to me very soon, but I'm not sure it's going to be for this basketball team. So with that said, I think we have to trade this guy. I think we have to trade him now, and if we can trade him and the #2 pick to go up to the #1 overall selection and take Markelle Fultz, I'm all for it. I know Fultz and D'Angelo Russell are very similar. Screw D'Angelo Russell, because we're talking about a big-time heavy hitter, boy. We're talking about, look at the past #1 draft picks recently. We're talking Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, Anthony Davis. I think he's of that level. I think he's going to have that kind of impact early, okay? I want Markelle Fultz. This guy's going to be great. Will he and Russell play well together? I think well enough. And eventually, if you have to trade Russell, fine. Because Markelle Fultz is freaking worth it. This guy's so good. Y'all are going to learn y'all lesson about Markelle Fultz real soon. My goodness. So I want to do this, but personally, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Sixers and Celtics, I think they're talking. I think it's going to happen. You're already hearing that Markelle Fultz is rerouting his trip to Philadelphia. He's going to meet with the Sixers probably tomorrow. So that looks like that's happening, unfortunately, for Laker fans. At least to me. I know y'all want Lonzo Ball, and that's fine. But Markelle Fultz, to me, man, this guy's great. So we'll see what happens. But I think that the Sixers-Celtics trade is happening. The Sixers go up to #1. Celtics move back to #3. Celtics end up with the #3 pick this year, as well as the 2018 pick of the Lakers. Probably end up with 2 top 10 picks next year. And then we'll see who ends up winning that trade in the future. It'll be close, But to me, if I'm the Celtics, I'm just going to take what's right in front of me, and what's right in front of me is the promised land in Markelle Fultz. I think you tank, or in this case, you let the Nets tank to get a guy like this. I think your plan worked. Now just take that guy. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Lakers, Celtics, Sixers, and the 2017 NBA draft rumors that have been circulating. We have less than a week until the 2017 NBA draft. Things are heating up indeed. See, people complaining about the NBA. I think the NBA is really fascinating right now. I think league hype is really high among the people in America right now. I think this league is really interesting. I think it's really popping. I'm having fun covering it. Until next time, this has been MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.